Hi, I'm Chris Webber and I'm a PhD student at Leeds Beckett University, and over the next minute or so I'm going to attempt to provide a brief overview of my research. So we'll dive right in. So first of all then, the project focuses on two elements really. The first is exploring the longer term impact of the Batabat Centre course and considering whether military veterans use any of their learning in an everyday setting. And the second is considering how the impact can possibly be amplified and enhanced moving forwards. So the reason that that's important is a lot of the transfer research is quite gloomy really, and a lot of the evidence shows that transfer of learning is quite hard to come by, and a lot of courses don't actually yield that much transfer of learning afterwards. Now, some of the data already collected from the Batabat Centre, the longitudinal data shown in the graph here, possibly highlights that with quite a big spike of well-being after the course, which tapers off quite quickly thereafter. But ultimately, the whole process is about ensuring that we can support military veterans in the best way possible, because they have been identified as quite a high-risk group of people. So what the project involves. So first of all, it's going to involve mapping the current program delivery. What do the coaches and what do the program already do? And then also exploring the transfer of learning beyond the program. So like I already mentioned, whether they use any of their learning in a different setting or situation after the course. Now the second phase is going to involve trying to boil down a lot of the reading that I've been doing over the last year or so about best practices in relation to how adults learn and how we can teach and deliver with transfer of learning in mind. Now that will also involving considering some of the practitioners, their existing knowledge about some of these concepts, and also trying to harness some of their ideas about what they think might work. But it builds up to really and sort of culminates in designing and implementing some experimental ideas. So trying to see how they work in practice and whether they have any sort of impact on the outcomes of military veterans. So what's the possible impact of doing this? Well, we can get a better understanding of some of the mechanisms involved in the program, some of the things that actually lead to some of these positive outcomes for military veterans. Also, what best practices are in relation to how adults learn and how you can support that, and also how coaches and practitioners can deliver with transfer of learning in mind. And also considering what practitioners and coaches know about some of these concepts, because that often isn't considered in some of the literature. But ultimately, learning a lot more about life after the course will be really, really useful, and how people get on with their sort of trajectories and their plans after they leave the program really. Now all of this knowledge will filter down and can filter down to improve the program and the delivery to ensure that it's as good as it can be really, certainly through the sort of transfer of learning lens, and that the program best supports military veterans and also leads to more likelihood of transfer of learning occurring as a result of some of this knowledge and some of these changes. Because transfer of learning is quite a general concept that can be applied quite broadly, that knowledge and insight isn't just going to be useful with military veterans. That could be used for school groups or outdoor adventure residentials or even corporate training and development. So it's very, very transportable, which is quite nice. So thanks for listening. Here's my contact details if anyone's got any questions about the project moving forwards.